What's going on, everybody? It's Living in Arizona Now, and today we're going to talk about living in Arizona. Is it a good time to buy or rent? Just based on my own experience, because I'm actually moving now. So I've gone through the process of being a homeowner and now transitioning to someone who's a renter as I continue to wait for what the market's going to do. And I'm going to share with you some interesting insights that I've discovered along the way about this process. So if you guys are interested about this video, crush up the likes, and thank you to all the new subscribers and new viewers who have been subscribing to this channel. So the first thing that I would say across the board, prices are up 10 to 15% just based on my own opinion. I haven't drilled down hard data because it doesn't really exist at this point, but prices are continuing to go up, and the forecast is that they're going to continue to go up at least until March, and maybe even all the way into September in just the short term. It could keep going up even beyond that. There's a lot of new inventory that's out there, a lot of new homes, new apartments. I'm personally moving into a new apartment complex. I would like to buy, but I have to wait a little bit. So I'm not going from one buy to another. And I'm probably signing a 13-month lease. The cool thing about this lease is they're giving me 8 weeks for free. So they're giving me 8 weeks for free, but I got to sign a 13-month lease. So I'm just giving you some insight into this current dynamic of what's available out there. I'm moving up to an area in North Phoenix, also known as Desert Ridge. So that'll be the new area. I'm currently down in Queen Creek and Santan Valley, heading up to North Phoenix around Desert Ridge, which you could almost consider North Scottsdale, which is probably where I've always wanted to be. It's just kind of expensive. I just decided to go ahead and do that. Thanks to the 4 people who already crushed up the likes. So there's a lot of thoughts that go about here. Like, what do you do? What do you do when you sell the house, and then where do you go? And do you buy land, raw land? I mean, what I would like more than anything, after having lived in a tract home community, tract homes are these areas where they're cookie cutter homes. Every home pretty much looks the same. It's got an HOA. I've done that. I would say that from my experience, that has been bland. It's probably, but I will say this: my mortgage, I was paying $1,300 a month. Now I'm moving into I'm almost like, kind of like almost doubling my rent by living in an apartment. So I'm going to a smaller situation where I don't even own. So it's money going down the drain that I'm not getting back. But here's the big thing that I think everyone needs to know about the market being so high right now, because the prices are inflated. Like I said, 10 to 15% over the last year. Interest rates. So your interest rates, if you can lock in this kind of interest rates, because with the new administration that's coming up or whatever we have going on, who knows, whatever it is, but there's no guarantee that these low interest rates are going to stay around forever. I mean, right now you can get in. I've heard people talking about locking under 3%, 2.5%. Some people even saying lower than that. I'm not a loan officer, but to hear that, that's really an encouraging signal for those of you who want to buy. And then as the inflation of the economy continues to go and the demand for living in Arizona continues, you're going to see, whatever you buy the house at, it's not a terrible investment on paper, at least the way it looks right now, but you're getting good interest rates. So right now, I'm having to do this because of the selling one house, going into another. If I need to break the lease because I find a super good deal, it will cost me a pretty penny to buy a home, but I would consider buying again in the area that I really like. I think the big thing that I would take away from all of this is when you move to Arizona, or if you're already living here, really your key to happiness is going to be the area that you choose. So the location thing is real out here, and people get bored in the Southeast Valley of Phoenix. If you're into entertainment, what's going on, DLP? What's going on, Melissa? Everyday Guy and Infotech and Consent. So yeah, the big gripe that you get out here in Southeast Phoenix is there's nothing really to do. I mean, I went to Top Golf a couple of times, went to a couple of these gaming centers. They're building Fat Cats, but they haven't built any new water parks out here. But now I'm moving up towards Scottsdale. There's a lot more going on there. I'm closer to Sky Harbor. I'm closer to, all the freeway systems, the Loop 101, which is, if you're anywhere near the Loop 101 freeway system, you're sitting pretty. I mean, anyone who lives out here will tell you the same thing. Harold says, I hardly ever buy a listed property. I buy off market, REO, or foreclosure. I can save $100,000 if I buy in Sierra Vista. Not my first choice, but saving big money. Yeah, and so even if you were thinking about moving to Southern Arizona, Tucson, Sierra Vista, prices are up over there. Prescott, prices are up. Payson, prices are up. So all across Arizona, not just Phoenix. Phoenix is the biggest metropolis we have in the state, but there's more to Arizona, obviously, than just Phoenix. There's Tucson, Prescott, Flagstaff, but everything is up. There's a big building boom in all of those cities. You could go to Prescott and find new builds. You could go to Flagstaff and find new builds. I mean, Flagstaff, I was just up there. They're building tons of stuff in Flagstaff. Flagstaff is booming. It's almost going to be unrecognizable here in the next 10 years. I mean, they've built so much new infrastructure around Northern Arizona University. Shannon says, I'm almost ready to leave Tucson and move upwards, Prescott and BLM, Bureau of Land Management land to just camp on. 67 years old, since great grandma, can't do the rent. Tucson is crime crazy. Okay, so she's sharing with you guys her experience living in Tucson. Thanks to the 14 people who already crushed up the likes, by the way. But I'll give you some examples of what the rent costs in a cheap area around Phoenix right now. So Glendale, I consider to be a really affordable, cheap suburb of Phoenix. Right now, 2 to 3 bedroom in a pretty nice community, going for around $1,400 on average, just for a 2 to 3 bedroom. Okay, obviously a 3 bedroom would be up in the 2000s. Most of these places I have discovered do allow dog friendly and cat friendly. And they do have air conditioning in most modern appliances. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's not too hard to come by. One thing that I will say was my preference was a townhome. So throughout all of the process of doing all this, it wasn't an apartment, it wasn't a house, it was a townhome that had a loft. That was what I was looking for. So if you're a investor or you're a builder, every apartment or every place that I went to, townhome community that I went to, the ones that were in the most demand but lowest supply were townhomes. These are houses that are they have they're 2-story. So you walk in, you have a living area, and you'll have a kitchen, and then you'll have a bedroom on the bottom floor, and then you go up and there's like a loft for an office, and then maybe a bedroom up there. Those were the ones that I discovered were most in demand. So if you can get your hands on a townhouse, that seems to be the best thing. Now, if you're looking to just buy something as like a second home, buying townhouses right now, based on the data that I saw, I mean, who knows? I mean, it could change, but right now that was what was in demand. And if you can get one with a little porch or a patio out back, that's even better. So what it is it's lower maintenance. So there's not as much maintenance. It gets the amenities of like having a community pool, having a community center, and then it's just, but a better price than a house. Although I have seen some of the houses, when I was looking to rent, I noticed that houses were even more affordable than apartments. And I said, well, why is that? And well, from what I understood, it was the amenities. Like I was going into some of these community center or some of these apartments, their gyms are just, you don't need a membership to a gym. I mean, yeah, you could pay $40 a month, or you just get an apartment where they got a nice gym. And some of these apartments they built, especially around Desert Ridge, North Scottsdale and stuff. Now, I don't want everyone to move out there because then they're going to chase me out with driving up all the rent, but I'm just saying, if I would rather be a homeowner in that case, if everyone's just going to move to Desert Ridge now all of a sudden. But I mean, these apartments, these condominiums, these townhouses right around like the Scottsdale Princess area, Fairmont, Scottsdale Princess, really nice area, but the apartments are just like hotels. I mean, these are just like, you're getting the resort kind of lifestyle in these apartments, but you're going to have to pay a pretty penny. So keep that in mind. Thanks to 16 people already crushed up the likes. Yeah, this is a Hawaii shirt. I really like this fabric. It doesn't necessarily have to have the Hawaii islands on it, although that makes it pretty good for me. But I actually like the fabric. If it's like a really lightweight, long sleeve shirt. It's like a polyester blend with spandex and yeah, it's a polyester spandex blend. It's real thin, perfect fabric. It's great. These are actually called rash guards if you go to Hawaii. What's going on, Tin Man? What's up? My wife just walked by and she said whoa, that's funny. Oh my God. I don't know who your wife is. That's funny. So another thing to say, that was just an awkward moment right there. She dated me. I don't know. I'm trying to think back who that could have been, but we'll connect on offline. That was just an awkward moment right there on this show. Oh man. So Carly, I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know her. I apologize if I don't know her. But anyway, moving on beyond that, we got to stick to the subject. Another thing that we have going on here with Arizona Lifestyle says, we love townhouses here. It's the only thing that is affordable. If you want it, to the point, you just have to research the HOA. So yeah, that is a big thing. But getting these, getting the pools, getting the gyms, being within close proximity to, all the nightlife that you can get around there. I mean, Desert Ridge is going to have pretty much everything that you could possibly want. Sparky says, was in Bullhead City this weekend looking at an investment property. What do you think? Investment property in Bullhead City? Yeah, I mean, that's all right. It's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what to think of Bullhead City. I would say you could probably get better investment property elsewhere, but we'll see. It just comes down to the area. The best place I would probably say to invest would probably be in Phoenix, around places like Queen Creek, Santan Valley. That would be a good place to invest. It's just a booming area. It's just going to keep going up, especially as the urban sprawl continues to flood in there and take over the area. So Renee says, how will the renters eviction moratorium affect the rental market? Undercover gardener. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I've never had anything like that happen on any sort of live feed, and that's cool. Let's see here. Anyway, so I've been distracted now. What's your opinion on the new construction coming up in Glendale? I would say it's pretty good. Peoria's another area that I would explore if you're going out in that area. Verrado is pretty good. Surprise, Litchfield Park. I mean, I would say probably Surprise is a good area out there in Glendale. I would go beyond Glendale and into Litchfield Park. Tin Man says, looking to purchase in Litchfield Park. Is that an okay area? New construction build. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it depends on your price range. I don't know what your price range is. If you give me your price range, I could give you some real good indicators. As a matter of fact, if you guys are looking to rent or buy, let me know your price range and I can help you guys right now, because I've got like fresh in the memory bank information for you guys. So let's hear it. Sparky says, we were in Phoenix last month, really liked it. Yeah, and if you have any other questions about places across Arizona, I can help dial in some of those answers. Thanks to the 19 people who crushed up the like button. Steve Eaton says, son lives in Glendale apartment. My wife and I would like to move from Pennsylvania, probably have to rent first. We will be retired in a few years. Tin Man, thanks for sticking around, man. Yeah, and definitely wish you all the good luck with your wife and everything. I mean, that's interesting that she said she knew me. But thanks for sticking around and, okay, so here we go. We got some questions. 300,000 2-bed, 2-bath, Central South Phoenix. You could probably find that south of the I-10. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that's a rough area, but you could find that probably in that area. Yeah, I would say so. 400K North Phoenix area. Could we manage Fountain Hills? Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. I don't think you're going to be able to pull off Fountain Hills at 400K. You could probably pull off. I did hear there's an area in between North Phoenix and Cave Creek called Tatum Ranch. Check that place out if you want North Phoenix. So Tatum Ranch is the name of the community. It's just up Tatum Boulevard, probably Dynamite Dixoletta area. Cave Creek Road and Tatum, that intersection, just go around that whole area. That you could probably find that $400,000 price range. I think it's even called Cave Creek at this point. Only Shane Anthony says East Fountain Hills isn't all that nice. Well, you're talking about Fort McDowell. Fountain Hills for the most part is one of the higher zip codes, most expensive zip codes you'll find in all of Phoenix. Just kind of, you're on the other side. You're in Fountain Hills when you go on the other side of the McDowell Mountains. So that's kind of interesting. Thank you. Yeah, we drove through that area. Beautiful, says Daniel. Okay, so you already went up to Cave Creek area. Yeah, Cave Creek is really popular. Anthem, I think you could still find those prices out in Anthem, but that's a little bit further beyond. Yeah, he says, yeah, by the reservation. It's not that rough. I mean, if you're talking in between Rio Verde and Fountain Hills being rough, maybe. But that's more northeast along the Verde River, right? Yeah, keep throwing some numbers at me. Let's see here. We flew out and looked at Queen Creek, Gilbert area recently. Nice area, but wasn't thrilled. Any other areas we should look next time? New home build in the 500K range. Oh, wow, that's a good price point. You're in a really realistic price point. So I would give you some numbers just to put out there. You could probably check out. I don't know what's most important. Are you looking for things to do, or are you looking for scenery? You want foothill living, or you want things to do? Because Estrella Mountain Ranch out in Goodyear, you're going to get a really nice house for that price, and it's pretty scenic. But there's not too much to do out in the west side of Phoenix. But that whole area out in Estrella Mountain is pretty good. If you didn't really like Gilbert, you could probably check out Gilbert. If you didn't like, I mean, I'd like to send you over to Scottsdale. I mean, but Cave Creek, maybe you could get Cave Creek out there. Yeah, I did do a video yesterday, 2 days ago. If you guys haven't already seen it, things to do in Arizona, 20 places, things to do. We're going to do another 20 on top of that. So if you guys are looking for ideas for things to do when you move out to Arizona, we jam-packed all that thing, everything from Vermilion Cliffs, Antelope Canyon, the Desert Botanical Garden down in Tucson, Organ Pipe National Park, Saguaro National Park. I mean, go watch the video and you can see it's the last video we literally uploaded. So check out that video if you guys are looking for some ideas of things to do when you get out here. I mean, like I said, that's part one. So stay tuned for part two, because that's coming up right there afterwards. Scott says, hello, is there any nice area you would recommend? 250 to 260,000, 3-bedroom, around 20 miles from downtown Phoenix. Thank you, and I appreciate the insight. Well, I would start out in Litchfield Park. You could check out in Litchfield Park. You could check out Surprise, might have that price range, but those kind of houses we're getting out of that range of that. So you're more going to be in the 300,000 range. But maybe even Buckeye might have that for you. Also, if you want to do out here in Southeast Phoenix, go to Florence, Coolidge. You'll have some homes out in Florence and Coolidge. Maybe even Maricopa will give you that $300,000 price range for a 3-bedroom. But 20 miles from downtown Phoenix, you're pretty much going west Phoenix. Yeah, I would check out Goodyear, Litchfield Park, maybe even Surprise. Glendale might have it, but I don't know how much people like living in Glendale. From what I heard, most people don't really want to move to Glendale. Thanks to the 23 people who pushed up the like button. Jennifer says, we're actually looking at the Santan area. We would like to be outside of town, but drivable to things. Husband drives for a living. I'm retail management, 2 shepherds, and like to be active. Try out Mesa. Try out like Eastmark. Check out Eastmark in Mesa, that community, because it puts you close enough to the Superstition Mountains and all that stuff, the lakes, Canyon Lake, Saguaro Lake, Salt River. Santan area is kind of far from everything. Santan's like really far from everything. It's just people moving out here because they were able to get the cheap land, the builders were, the developers, and then just build really easily. So Harold says, I'm in Honolulu, Jeff. Arizona gonna be a hub. We can jump California, Arizona, Nevada, and Hawaii. Gonna buy a 4-bedroom, cut in half, live on the east side, rent out the other 270,000. Sierra Vista. Yeah, Sierra Vista, great. That's a good area to be. I like Sierra Vista. It's not too hot and it's not too cold. It's like I don't know the elevation of Sierra Vista. I want to say it's like 3,000, 4,000 feet, because I know some of those towns out there. It is wine country, but you can be up there in Sonoita, up on that kind of like that plain, and it's green up there even in the summertime, and they get lots of monsoons. But you go around the mountain there, and you're in Fort Huachuca, Sierra Vista. It's a nice area, but small town, very small town city. It's like a small city. I mean, but beautiful area. I think it's nice. Only Shane Anthony says West Phoenix is better than East Phoenix. West Phoenix does have the Cardinal Stadium and Westgate. That's pretty good. They've got some pretty decent golfing. But the thing about West Phoenix that I don't really care for is, most of the lakes. It's easy. There's like how many lakes out here? There's Saguaro Lake, there's Bartlett Lake, you've got Canyon Lake, you've got all these lakes on the east side of Phoenix. All you got over there in the west side is, Lake Pleasant. And then, there's no real rivers over there. The Agua Fria is already dried up, and the Cave Creek kind of dried up. So you don't get any real water or activity like you get over on the southeast side, but you do have the sports, and you have Westgate golf courses and some nice, some nice living. I guess it's up to you guys what you like, but check out West Phoenix if that's what you guys are looking for. Plus, it is a nice head start to LA, Las Vegas. That's why I'm biased. Okay, you like going to LA and Vegas. There you go. I like going up to Arizona high country up the Beeline. So that's why I also like East. But the I-17 will take you right up to, Sedona, and that's kind of like West Phoenix, close enough to West Phoenix. So Serial says, Sonoyta is gorgeous. We hiked around Parker Canyon Lake this last weekend and saw a bald eagle. Nice. Yeah, and there's also Patagonia. Did you guys go to Patagonia? Patagonia is pretty good. From Sonoyta, you would go to Patagonia down, keep going past there. You go into Nogales. Nogales, that's where the De Anza Trail is. You go up the other side, you come back up towards Tucson, and you're in the De Anza Trail area, which is Tubac, Tamacari, which we actually included that in the 20 things to do in Arizona video. If you guys check that out, that's the Old Missions. That song Old Mexico, that Old Mexico, that's Old Mexico right there. Cause you got Tamacari, De Anza Trail is basically, this was Mexico at the time when the Spanish were here, and they were doing the Camino Real out in 1600s, 1500s out here. This was way back before Arizona even got set up. 200, 300 years before the settlers from the east came. Paulina says, we are planning to move in March to Peoria from Seattle, Vistancia area, more affordable than Seattle. Vistancia is a beautiful area. I think you're going to love Vistancia. It's off the 303 freeway. A lot of people who live out in Vistancia, they get beautiful homes. It's kind of like Sun City, but a little bit more isolated, and they have all inclusive. It's not just you have to be 55 and older. So I really like Vistancia. I've heard great reviews about Vistancia. Yeah, Serial says Patagonia is nice, good for fishing. Yeah, Patagonia is pretty nice. I mean, it would be nice if it was like really like Patagonia, but they have that Mount Ryston. I think that's why they call it Patagonia, because I guess maybe that reminded them of Bocos del Toro or whatever it's called down there in Chile. I don't know how it got the name Patagonia. VJ says, any good area to rent around Scottsdale? Scottsdale is a little costlier for me. Okay. Scottsdale, I would say South Scottsdale's some areas. There's like this area called Tom Scott, which is Thomas and Scottsdale Road. You could check that place out. Let's see, where else did we I did make a video of a pretty good place on our Instagram. If you're not already following us on Instagram, look us up, Living in Arizona Now on Instagram. I made a video of a place called Castle Hot Springs. I think I need to make a video about all the resorts out here, but you should check out the video of Castle Hot Springs. It's like this resort. That's where JFK used to go, the Rockefellers. They would all come out here, and then it burned down in the 70s. Well, now it's been restored. It's called Castle Hot Springs. It's natural 108-degree water coming straight out of the earth. We don't know where it comes from, but it's 108 degrees in these natural hot springs. But just telling you, if you're trying to get a room there, I think it's like $1,000 a night. And guess what? There's only like 2 ways to get out there. You got to take this long dirt road to get out there, or people fly in on helicopter. But this place is it's like a paradise out there in the middle of the desert. So if you haven't already checked us out on Instagram, you can. Carrie says, we are planning to move to Arizona from Portland the first of the year. How are the winery options? There's two areas we call wine country in Arizona. You have the Verde Valley, which is Sedona, Cottonwood, that whole area. Jerome, the guy from Tool, I think his name's Maynard. He has a winery up in the Verde Valley, the band Tool. And then in the south, we have a winery out there by Sonoyta, the other place I was telling you guys, kind of by Patagonia, or a little bit, maybe 30 minutes away from Sierra Vista, Fort Huachuca. Jennifer says, do you think inventory will increase enough in late spring that listings will last longer? I mean, there's always this idea. I mean, from what I understood is like, there's a lot of people who haven't made any payments on their house and they're taking advantage of the COVID thing. And then so like when that comes due, when the bill expires for the COVID thing, all these people who haven't been making payments on their houses, what's going to happen then? You know, because even the renters, people haven't been paying their rent. Supposedly all that rent money goes onto the back of their term, but this is a real sticky situation that could pop the bubble. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Are they going to forgive? What are they going to do with all that money when it comes due? I know people who haven't paid their mortgage for like 3 or 4 months. I personally am current on all my mortgages, but I don't know. We'll see. You know, that's a good question. It's to me, it doesn't make sense. I think we're in an irrational economy. Just things don't make sense around here. Like the stock market keeps going up, and like you see all these travel stocks just keep going up, cruises and airlines, and you're like, aren't they like at like 35% capacity? They've got all these airliners parked. Delta's got like half their fleet like parked on some tarmac. United, the same thing. All the international carriers, like, you know, the 777 Dreamliner, all those big carriers that go intercontinental, they're basically grounded. I mean, you could go to any major airport, Los Angeles International, San Francisco. You won't see very many international flights. So where's all those aircraft? Those big, they're parked. But their stocks keep going up, even though they're parked. So to me, that's an irrational economy. It doesn't. We're in a whole nother paradigm of investment. Thanks to the 40 people who crushed up the likes, by the way. How about Sun City Grand House market right now? Yeah, I think it's pretty high. I mean, it's higher than it should be. I think the whole market across the board is higher than it should be. But you know, if you're going to live here, you got to pay that. You got to pay the going price. But I would say that it's kind of like one of those things you can't really accurately get your finger on it. So you have to just ultimately say is that you got to go where you want to live. If you said I want to live in Phoenix, you got to do it. Just do it. If no sense in kicking the can around, because waiting, you know, you can't really accurately project or predict where the market's going to go. It's too irrational. I mean, it's a hard one to get your finger on, really, if you're trying to get your finger on the pulse. Rent non-payers are a huge issue. They get away with it because the evictions won't be processed by the government. As soon as that expires, tons of evictions. Yeah, I mean, if they're a renter, they should be saving up all that money. I mean, what are they doing with all that money that they had? You know, if their rent was $1,400 a month, where's all that $1,400 that they would normally be paying? I guess are they laid off? I mean, from what I understood from an Uber driver, he was saying that 1 in 3 people who get in his car are unemployed, but most of them are bartenders. So shout out to John for that, by the way, for giving me that information. Garrett says, is East Valley nice geography than the West Valley? Superstition Mountains are a nice topography. That's a real nice place for a geography, right? But in the West Valley, if you go way far west, you come up to the base of the White Tanks out in Verrado. That's nice topography. But the nicest topography in Phoenix Metro, probably at least where the highest real estate is going to be, is around Pinnacle Peak, Tom's Thumb, McDowell Mountains, that whole area right there. If you go further north, you go up into Black Mountain, Elephant Butte, that whole area right there. Real high, really expensive zip code. Rosa says, I moved here in May, renting for now. Everything is expensive for cheap. Old homes, not worth it, especially downtown. The houses here suck. I don't want to go live far for a cookie cutter home. Yeah. Oh, man, that was a lot to unpack right there. But she pretty much shared her opinion. I would say that, yeah, I mean, even if they build a new build, the way they build these things is so, I think they're cheaply built. I mean, they put up they pour the concrete slab, put up some wood slats, you know, for the frames, put a little drywall on it, put some stucco on the outside. In the middle is some fiberglass to keep it up. But it's like, how durable are these houses? They're not going to last like the old builds. The old builds, they were made out of block. In fact, when I went up to see my buddy up at Castle Hot Springs, up in just north of Lake Pleasant, his dad builds out of Adobe. I don't know if you guys know what Adobe is. It's a mud brick. So this Adobe brick, but that's the old way they used to do it out here, was with Adobe. That's like a real mud brick. Benefits of Adobe. Built-in insulation, summer and winter. You know, it doesn't get too hot in the summer inside, and it doesn't get too cold in the winter. Because these high deserts, I mean, it's been getting down into the 30s. That's pretty cold if you're sleeping and you don't have an air conditioner or a heater. I mean, in the 30s is cold. It's really cold. Like for me, at least, especially. But some people are like, "Oh, you think the 30s are cold? Try -10." All right, you win. But anyway. Gray Man says, any particular builders better than others? Oh man, I've heard good things about Taylor Morrison. I've heard some people say good things about Lennar. I live in a Meritage home. I personally didn't have a problem with Meritage, but I've heard some bad reviews. I think it just depends on the supervisor of the area. So like I heard that the reason that half of the neighborhood wasn't done correctly was because they had a different supervisor. So if the guy who's like signing off on everything is kind of half cocked with the contractors, you might not get a quality build and things might go wrong on the new build. But you know, if you like the model that Lennar produces or Taylor Morrison with all the what do they call those fixings, the fixtures? Anyways, for me, a big thing is location. I'm a big location bug. I mean, if I'm in a good location, I like to be able to walk places. If I can't really walk places, then if I got to drive everywhere, and that's Phoenix. Phoenix loves to make you walk. So I'm like, well, where are the places you can live and walk within short proximity? Downtown Phoenix, downtown Scottsdale, Desert Ridge. Well, maybe not Desert Ridge too much, but Kierland. You know, those are the kind of things that get me excited. That's the stuff that I like. Empathy says, any suggestions for under approximate 1,000 population locations with very small town feel? Okay, well, we talked about it on this channel. Patagonia, go check out Patagonia. Now, Patagonia, all the residents of Patagonia are going to say, why is everyone moving out here? Who the heck sent them? Just don't say me. No, another place that's kind of small town feel is Pine, Arizona. Strawberry's got a pretty good small town feel. I think Payson's small town enough, although, you know, in the summertime, you get all those people trying to drive up to the Mogollon Rim and all the lakes up there. But, you know, they got other places out there. Okay, here's one. And the people out there are going to hate me for this one. Young. Check out Young. You want real, like, nice area, not a lot of people. It's called Young. Hey, they asked. You know, what can I say? I mean, I don't have an allegiance to anything. Thanks, Titus. But yeah, Young is a pretty good place. You might like Wickenburg. Wickenburg's pretty good. It's got a small town feel, but it's probably maybe 15, 20,000 people out there. Empathy Lady says in Red Rock area. The Red Rock area, you talking about Rimrock? Rimrock's a small town. You can definitely get some stuff out there in Rimrock. Another town you may like is Clarkdale. Now that I'm rattling off all these small towns to live, you might check out Clarkdale. What else is out there? Not too many people live up in Jerome. There's so many out there, man. There's tons of places. T Noxic says, don't waste your time with HOA. If you want a house that you can call your own. Yeah, no kidding. Like these cookie cutter homes, they tell you what to do, and the house is so small. I mean, friendly neighbors though. I've had nothing but friendly neighbors out here in Santan Valley. All my neighbors are cool. Like they're like people I would stay in touch with. So I would say good things about my neighbors. But just the house is so small, the backyard and all that, to really customize it. I mean, once the project's done, it's done. So for me, I'm like, next time I do this, I'm buying a piece of property, 2 to 3 acres, and I'm going to build, and I'm going to plant a garden. I'm going to, you know, toil the soil. That's what I'm going to do. Alan says, I'm from Iraq. I like to come to Arizona. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of people I've met some people from Iraq out in Tempe. So Garrett says, loved your video on Gilbert, but West Valley surprised Goodyear. Seems like the dollar goes further. Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you get more bang for your buck out there. You might, if you wanted to move out towards Gilbert, you'd be looking at Santan Valley and Florence if you're trying to get bang for your buck out here, because Gilbert's moving that way. The Gilbert lifestyle is moving that way. Thanks to the 56 people who already crushed up the likes. Zen says, best place to live without a car, Tucson or Tempe? Tempe, hands down. I mean, are you going to live down in the area by the University of? So, are you trying to ask me what university is better, University of Arizona or Arizona State? Because coincidentally, both those places are where the university's at. Arizona State University is in Tempe, and Tucson is where University of Arizona is. I mean, the party school out of the two, all across the board, has always been Arizona State. Arizona State's the party school. The smarter people is a joke, right? But they say the smarter people go to U of A. But I've gone down to U of A. They like to party down there too. So let's not pretend. They like to party out there in good old Tucson. I've seen it. What's that road called right there that leads right into Arizona, University of Arizona? I forget the name of it. I think it's called University. I know they have a university in Tempe, but you think Arizona is considered a safe state and nothing big ever happens here? What? In terms of natural disasters, we get fires. We get teased with these funnel clouds. We get the very remnants of hurricanes. They say we could be in a drought, which could lead to a natural disaster, a dust bowl kind of setting. But Phoenix could be completely dry all year, but we're not dependent upon the water that comes from Phoenix. We get our water from the mountains way out in like eastern Arizona. So in the Rockies, like that's where the water comes from out here in the valley. So it could be dry as a bone down here in Phoenix. We won't have any rain, but we still have plenty of water because it's up. The rain and the snow is still coming to the White Mountains. So in terms of natural disasters, we don't really get anything. We haven't really had too much terrorist attacks. We don't really get too many attacks of anything like that. A little bit of high crime in some areas, but what big city doesn't have high crime? So we'll see. Any thoughts on the future of Waddell when Northern Parkway is finished? I don't have any thoughts on that, Gray Man. I would have to look into Waddell and that Northern Parkway. Waddell is not too well known by me. I don't know too much about Waddell. I don't go out there that often, so I can't really make an opinion on that. Most affordable, safe place for single mom. Well, I always say it's Gilbert. I mean, the closer you are to Gilbert and south of Mesa, don't go to Mesa too much because Mesa is a little bit wild, but I mean, it's not going to be that scary. I mean, you're going to be pretty safe no matter what. You could also check out an area in North Glendale, Peoria called Arrowhead. I think that's a pretty safe place. I like Desert Ridge too. You could also check out Anthem. Anthem's a really safe place. 50,000 subscribers soon. Where? So anyways, guys, thanks to the 61 people who crushed up the likes, and thanks to everyone for watching. I know this is an early live stream. I'm trying to answer as many questions so that you guys can ask your questions here. If you're tuning in late, you can drop a comment after the video, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, and don't forget to watch that video, 20 Things to Do Around Arizona, Part 2 coming soon.